Alright guys, it's been almost a month. This character tier list shit that I'm making right now for the whole game, people have already made it. Goichi's made his list. He's made 2 different lists. A lot of other people have been putting out their list on who they think is very strong. I am going to make my list. I did make a tier list before on my stream, but I didn't publish it because I wanted to give the game a little bit more time. So I decided, let's talk about it now. There's literally tournaments that exist that are banning characters. So I think it is absolutely time to talk about this tier list, to talk about the current power level of the game. DNF Duel Month 1 tier list. Let's talk about it. God tier, S tier, A+, A, and B. I don't think there's any bad characters in terms of function. I think everybody in the game can play. But ultimately, there are characters that are going to make you get that dub easier, and some characters that are not going to make you get that dub easy. In God tier, there is only one character that supersedes everybody in the game. We already know who it is. It's Swiftmaster. This character does it all. He does everything. He touches you, you take 60%. Doesn't matter if you're Crusader, who has the highest health value in the game at 1150 health. All right, you just get hit by 60% if you get hit by tap. All right, if you get hit by tap, it's over. You just lose. So that alone is a problem. His damage output's insane. Mix-ups are insane. His safe jump situation where he gets a left-right is insane. Yeah, you got the guard button, but that doesn't matter. And he still gets a high-low situation as well. You know, of course, it's only mids. He doesn't have that great of a block string, but it's like, if he touches you, you lose. He has ways to bypass neutral. He has the ability to suck you in with 4S. He has 6S for his tornadoes to play zoning. He has Tap Punch, which is a physical hit, not a projectile. Physical hit, disjointed, +3 on block attack. That when it hits, you lose 60%. All right. He has Summon Swords with his 214 MS. He has literally Virgil Summon Swords where he can run forward and roll, and now you lose because he could get a conversion from that. His buttons are really strong with stuff like 5C, 2B, and a 9-frame forward advancing normal in 5B. He has a reversal. It's 18 frames, but he still has a reversal he could use that hits all around him and sucks you in. He has the Wind Orb, which turns into when it detonates, it turns into a projectile that is a typhoon that sucks you in. There's going to be another character I'm going to talk about that guard breaks you in a true block string. But Swiftmaster is the only character that could do it, and it's guard cancel safe because he has the Wind Orb and he detonates it and he can move freely the entire time. That to me is cheap, and if it hits, he gets a 60% combo anyway. Swiftmaster is cheap as hell. He's probably the best character in the game, does everything that every other character wants to do or wishes they could do. This character got banned, by the way, in a tournament. Now, I'm not down for banning any character in this game. I think the game is fine without any bans. But if Swiftmaster's getting banned out of a tournament, that should tell you how good the character is, all right? Let's move on to S tier because there's literally nobody else to put in God tier. Number 2 in the game is Hitman. Hitman, to me, is literally the best character if we exclude Swiftmaster. I think Hitman has tools for most situations. He has an instant overhead in JB and a conversion to a combo. He has the ability to convert from like half screen. He has a way to like just break down your guard bar with his, I think, 236 MS. That's the one where he does the sword toss and you can't roll it. He has really good buttons with 5A and 2B. The biggest thing about this character, though, is his awakening. His damage output and his awakening are the 2 biggest things that carry this character. A lot of times when I see this character play, it's literally hit me, man. You just hit him, he gets bodied, and then he gets 30%, and he gets to just whiff this move that is 0 when he whiffs it if you roll. And if you get hit, you get crumple state in the 80%. It's crazy, right? Because he could DP you. And there's not a goddamn thing you can do about it when he's in awakening. You know, you roll it, then he's 0 if he's in the corner, and he can choose to do it again. And the DP can hit you on later frames in the corner. So you can actually get bodied for trying to roll it. Now, mid-screen, you can punish him if he does DP into the awakening follow-up. But then he could choose not to do it, and then you look like an idiot because you're blocking trying to react, and you don't do anything. So then he gets to take his turn back. Shit like that is kind of dumb. You know? And then, of course, when the DP into the combo hits, you're losing 80%. All right? So, I'm just saying this character is also pretty bananas. And a lot of Hitman players will tell you just roll the DP. Just delay your jumping so you can beat it. But then the Hitman players can adapt. They can literally just be like, well, I'm just going to delay my DP so I can beat your shit. And if you roll, I'm just not going to do the follow-up. Or I'm just going to only do the DP when I'm cornered. So they'll tell you, don't put me in Awakening. So now I have to touch him 4 times. Most characters have to touch him like 3 or 4 times. Because they have to avoid the Awakening altogether. Don't you think that's a problem? That means he gets to play longer. Despite having, average health. And the Awakening cost for the follow-up after the DP is only 10 mana. So that means so long as he has enough meter to spend on his DP, he can always do the follow-up, which to me is insane. It's not the DP, it's the Awakening special that needs to be adjusted, if anything. Outside of that, this character is fucking godlike. The next character I'd put in top 5 is Striker. I think Striker is a very strong character. She's a very solid character. I wouldn't want to change her too much. The thing about this character is I feel a lot of people don't have proper experience against this character, and the characters is being played at lower levels in a way that's very dogmatic. Now, of course, this doesn't mean that the character isn't cheap. The character's cheap. I'll be the first one to tell you that, alright? But I got footsies, okay? I got footsies, so I'm not getting carried. I'm whiff punishing people with 5B, 2B, and 6S. 2B is 24 frames of recovery. 6S is 33 frames of recovery. And people are not whiff punishing her. That should tell you something. If you make her whiff, she can't reverse beat. So, that's one thing. The other thing too, by the way, is her DP is really good because she can actually cancel it into an air move, into JMS, and then she's plus. That leads into a lot of her guard crush situations or her guard break situations where she forces you to block, right? But you can make the DP whiff and she can't do the follow-up. If you do your safe jump on her and then roll right after, that's an option select, where if she blocks instead of doing the DP, you get a block string, and then if she does the DP, you'll roll once you land. So basically, you'll bait the DP and then punish her afterwards for trying to do it, right? You cover both options. You can't really do that against Hitman when he's in the corner because the later frames of the DP clips you. But Striker, on the other hand, you can, and then you punish her and then she loses. Striker also has below average health, around 900, 950. So her whiffing that DP is not a good idea. She could really only do it, offensively, or if she sees that someone's gonna jump. And even then, her DP trades with a lot of characters jump-ins in the game. So there's counterplay. There's things that are annoying with the character, and I think the guard crush is what really carries the character in terms of her power, right? It's not even the dive kick. I think the dive kick is really strong too, and the ability to reverse beat from the dive kick is great. But I also think it's a little too plus. Maybe allowing you to trip guard her would be fine. But ultimately, I think she's like one nerf away from being perfectly balanced, in my opinion. I think she's fine. I just think that a lot of people are playing the character at the lower levels very ham, and they don't actually know what they're doing. And then they're at the top level, you don't see any Striker players. I literally don't see any Striker players outside of myself, Sprout Vermilion, and Stevo SRM, if I'm correct. Those 3 are the only Striker players, including myself. Only 3 in tournament, topping. Everybody else, I don't know where the fuck they at. So, if she's really good, why don't I see her as often winning tournaments? Why don't I see her as often, placing? It's only us 3. Where the rest of these Striker players at? She's so easy to play. If she's so top tier, let me know in the comments down below. But I think Striker is definitely a top 3 character, but not for the reasons you think. Oh yeah, and her Awakening is cheap too. When she touches you, you die. She actually fucking kills you. So let's just get that out the way. She actually kills you when she touches you. Number 4. I'm at a tie here, but it's either Dragon Knight or Crusader. I'm gonna say Dragon Knight. I think Dragon Knight is actually the best solid character in the game. She doesn't have a lot of bad matchups. She goes even across the majority of the cast. Her ability to be able to literally touch you from anywhere on the screen with either, jump S or jump B or what's the other normal? Or with 5B. Like those two situations is where it gets really hard to approach her, because then she gets a conversion, carries you to the corner, or she can set up her Astra, the dragon, right? And from there, it becomes a very big problem, because at that point, she's literally just putting the dragon behind you or in front of you, and then it attacks you, and you need to check it. If you don't check Astra, then what happens is she could set the Astra to throw fireballs after you, and then she could create block strings and re-engage with more pressure. So you actually have to worry about that. The other thing too is this character has a lot of instant overhead stuff that she could do to you. Zeus is really solid with this character. If you watch Zeus, right, he's a Korean player that plays Dragon Knight. He's very, very good with that character. And the things that you're able to do in situations on block with this character is wild. Just double overheads, the Astra set play, locking you down, making her DP safe, right? Making her able to stop you from DPing her. I really do think she's crazy. When she has you in the corner and she touches you, she has a loop in the corner that she could do with Astra that just cleaves off a lot of life. And the craziest part is in Awakening, her meter gain is by far ridiculous, because she just passively gains mad bar, so she could just whoop specials over and over. The other thing too is that she could throw you, and then Astra will do the spinny move afterwards. If she does the throw and it connects, she's getting a full combo. She's one of the few characters that can actually combo you from her throw as well, making her strike throw game ridiculous. I think Dragon Knight is definitely a top 4 character. She also has 5MS. 5MS, I think it's 5MS or 236MS. I think it's 236MS, the one where she fucking swings her sword and it's like full screen. Not many characters can really handle that. And the crazy part about it is when she throws Astra, she could do 236MS to check you for trying to jab her. I think Dragon Knight is a very solid character. Not a lot of bad matchups at all. Number 5 is Crusader. You know, Crusader is actually going down quite a bit in popularity. A lot of people are starting to figure out how to fight this character a little, like, bit by bit, but that doesn't mean this character isn't still good. Crusader has a tracking wall that's +5 on block. It might as well be 5 frame startup. It's like 3 + 12 + 6 or some shit like that for the frame data startup. But that wall, he could do any button he wants into wall, and then he's +5. And he could keep doing it. He could keep going ham, right? The Javelin and Kara Javelin, where he does Jump Justice, bro, he is actually ridiculous against Swiftmaster, in my opinion. Like, he could literally do Jump Javelin to nullify the summon swords from Swiftmaster, the actual, like, wind barrier. The other thing, too, is that it's a very fast projectile, and the hitbox for it is literally, like, below the actual projectile. He gets a full combo from it, or he could loop the Javelin together and convert from it as well. His buttons, while they're slow, go really far, and he's able to easily confirm from them. It's a big damage and into a combo that leads into situations with his armor install, which, by the way, his armor install is wild because it buffs his hammer, so where he can loop 5B over and over and he can just kill you off of it, or, you know, he can end up putting you in situations with strike throw, right? Because he's plus. And you could roll against his 5B to try to punish him, but he could delay the 5B because it's so active and punish your roll on the recovery frames and kill you for it. The other thing too is, yes, his armor is one hit, but he could get exhausted from it if he doesn't manage it correctly. That's why he has 2 moves that he could do out of it. He has the slam down hammer move that he could do while he's armored up to prevent himself from being fatigued. And he has I like to call it the disco ball. It's basically like a giant ass like ray that comes down around him, so you could play like defensively and have it be near you, or you could use it in Oki situations. The Apocalypse Orb, that shit is fucking bananas, bro. Crusader also has a really strong awakening in the sense that he doesn't die as fast. He has 1150 health, and then he gets a defense buff in awakening, and you can't, like, his guard bar, the guard bar decreases less. Like, he actually takes less guard bar damage, and he'll recover more white life. This is literally the only character in the game that is capable of surviving like a lot of things, like a lot of like one-touch scenarios. So no, Crusader is still a very strong character, a very solid character in my opinion, easily a very good character. I think watching Fame 96 will show you the highest level of potential with this character. And I think people that think that Crusader is like not that good because people are starting to figure him out will realize, no, he's still pretty good. So, that's my top 5 in that order. Swiftmaster, Hitman, Striker, Dragon Knight, Crusader. That's my top 5. So now we're going into A+. Kunoichi at the head of A+. All these dudes playing Kunoichi are playing the long game. This character is mad nice, right? She throws her kunais, zones you, becomes very annoying to deal with in the neutral. She has a double jump, so she can bait anti-airs while also being able to punish anti-airs with her jump MS. She can do multiple jump MSs in the air. On top of that, she also has the ability of calling her toad out and kind of locking you down while continuing to play her zoning game. She also has a tornado that she could use within pressure for Oki, kind of like another character we're going to talk about, Inquisitor. But with her, she could also use it in situations like to pick you up off the ground, because it actually picks you up as a ground attack, unlike Inquisitor. She's another character that could combo off of throw and do good damage from it too. And the thing about it is she can create block strings from that as well. I think the main thing about Kunoichi too is her speed. Her speed is pretty good. I think if you notice, Swiftmaster, Striker, Kunoichi, Dragon Knight, they all have like really strong mobility and really decent buttons to play within the neutral. Striker kind of suffers the same way that Kunoichi kind of suffers, in the sense that they have like really like subpar buttons. Not like bad buttons per se, but they don't go as far as somebody like Hitman or Crusader or Swiftmaster or Dragon Knight. But they get the job done in that, coupled with the movement, they are capable of being able to play footsies and then afterwards go into mix-ups that become very damaging. And that's what Kunoichi is. I think when people get more time with her, she's going to probably end up in S tier, right? I think she might overtake Crusader. I think Kunoichi's a very strong character. Her damage output's also really good too. Her buff in Awakening, I believe, also speeds up the time of the bomb. So that alone is also really hard to deal with. I think Kunoichi's really good. The only issue, again, like I said, is probably her buttons and her squishy health at 900, I think. But aside from that, she's a pretty solid character. Berserker? Bruh. Berserker literally just says, I'm gonna frenzy up like I'm Carmine from fucking Unist. I'm gonna make my health drain, and I'm just gonna go ham. He also has really strong mobility in Frenzy. The fact that when he does Frenzy, he runs forward and then presses like 5A, 5B, and now you're stuck? Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Why does this character have suck? Why does this character have suck? He literally touches you, goes Ungamentals, and then sucks you in. I don't know what the move is. It's an MS move, but he sucks you in, right? Does a follow-up, and then he could do another follow-up right after. That shit is cheap. The suction is probably the cheapest thing about the character, because at any point within the neutral, he could do it, and you get fucked. It's 5 MS? Bro, stop. Come on. The fact that Berserker is out here just mashing in the 5 MS, sucking you in, and then he thinks he's godlike is annoying. This shit is mad annoying. The crazy part is that he also has guard break situations he could do with conversion because of how his frenzy works. And his command grab is also cheap because it recovers all the white life back that he lost when he used frenzy, which is a compliment to the rest of his toolkit. The very fact that this character is able to guard break you with his conversion and bait out guard cancel is also another reason why I think people are overrating the Striker guard crush string. Because Striker's guard crush string is very, very strong because of how she kills you right after. But Swiftmaster has it, and it's even worse because he could bait out guard cancel. And Berserker's another one that could bait out guard cancel as well. But the other thing too about Berserker is not only can he guard break you, he can mix you up because he could do a combo into Fireball, and then he could jump and instant overhead you or go for low, and it's DP safe because you have to block the Fireball on wake up first. That to me is wild. Tell me why this character can kill you in 2 touches. Why can he kill you in 2 touches? His 5B is probably one of the best buttons I've ever seen. That button is probably disjointed. I don't know what to say. that button looks mad disjointed. I can't even slide underneath it. I think the only thing about Berserker that's messed up is that, unfortunately, he's not stable. When he uses Frenzy, he spends all of his, life, his actual life. And then, if he ever gets hit, he's losing all that white life. He's never going to get that white life back until he's in Awakening, where when he touches you, he becomes I Am Melania, Blade of Miquella. He touches you, and any hit that he does, he gets actual life back. Not white life, actual life back. Recoverable life back. Not white life, actual life. So he could continue using his Frenzy. But, again, he has to be losing for that. And most of the time, players are not going to make him try to stay in Awakening to get those perks. He's going to lose. Most of the time, Berserker puts himself in Awakening. So, that's his flaw, is while he puts himself in Awakening, he gets his buffs, he gets all that extra stuff. At the end of the day, if you don't manage it properly, you just die. He doesn't have a lot of health. I think he has 950 HP, which is insane because I would think they would give him a higher health pool. That's how they did it in Under Night with Carmine. But I feel as though that's the biggest downfall of the character, is the fact that his health, he doesn't have a high health pool to play with. I think Berserker, however, is one of those characters that will end up being stronger over time. So, yeah. I think Berserker's really good. Troubleshooter. I want to put Troubleshooter in A+ as well. I think this character is highly slept on. I don't know why people are not playing this character more. I actually would probably put Troubleshooter over Berserker with how stable Troubleshooter is. Troubleshooter, to me, is like a character that has very solid neutral. Very, very solid neutral with 2B and JB and JS. His grenade with the JS and 5S is insane. It's insane to me. Tell me why he can use his JB. He can use his JB and his JS to mix up, and then he has JMS to tag you into a large combo, right? His JMS might as well be a dive kick. The thing about Troubleshooter is any hit that he does can convert into the trap, and then the trap locks you down. The thing about Troubleshooter as well is in both his block strings and in his combos, he can, like Fendo, School Bus, he's shown how he's capable of doing Drink 4MS mid-combo to buff his damage output by 30% and then afterwards kill you using conversion. Right? Troubleshooter literally is capable of being stable in a lot of different situations and has a very simple but effective game plan. The thing about Troubleshooter as well is I think his DP in Awakening, along with, obviously all his moves get buffed because they have a lot more range and pushback, but I think he's insane in Awakening. He could literally one-touch you in situations with the way that he's capable of just touching you with 5MS or with DP. DP, you can't it's hard for many characters to punish him for doing DP when he's in Awakening. And then when he does 5MS, he gets a full combo and he kills you. Bro, I don't understand why. I think the biggest thing about Troubleshooter that's an issue, however, that doesn't put him in S tier for me, is the fact that he doesn't have, he only has Grenade. He only has Grenade. He only has that one tool to really help him next to, Jump MS. That's his whole thing. Without that, he's pretty, one note. He's pretty linear. As opposed to the rest of the characters that have multiple tools. And his mix-up, unless he puts the trap on you and he has you in corner, he doesn't really have a crazy mix-up. He kind of just touches you and then you fucking die. I think he does have overheads that he could do against you. The JMS is also considered an overhead, but most people use it as a throw bait because it's so slow, right? I think that's the biggest thing, right? He's just kind of he's gonna touch you, and then you just get put in a strike throw mix-up, and you die, right? But I think Troubleshooter is also another candidate for being an S tier. I think these A+ characters are really, really good. I'll probably put Ranger first, and then Ghostblade. Ghostblade's ability to put you in the corner with 40% gone from neutral, using his 5MS to be able to tag you. Like, he'll do 5ms, 6s, and then he'll basically get a combo after. That leads into a lot of damage. I think his safe jump situations are also really ridiculous when he's on top of you, because he could do the jump MS ghost to kind of like lock you down, and then he goes for a double high or a double low mix-up, right? Like, I think that to me is insane. Not a lot of characters have a way to really deal with that. I think Striker is one of the only few that can actually deal with it. And his buttons are really good. I just think the issue with Ghostblade is that he doesn't have really strong defense. He doesn't have a DP. He doesn't have a teleport to get him out of certain situations. But he doesn't really have a reversal, whereas Ranger has a reversal, right? Ranger, to me, he has a reversal. He can convert from his zoning really well. He puts you in a very bad situation too, because he throws the grenade, and then you're now stuck in a position where if you roll, you get thrown, and then the grenade pops off and he gets to combo you after throw. He also has the ability to really whittle down your guard bar with the gun raid, but you could zone him. I mean, you could roll the gun raid when he throws the 214 MS. When he does that, you could actually roll it in between his shots. So it's not real. But if he jails you with it, you're going to take a lot of guard damage. And I've actually seen situations where he can guard break you in the corner with it, and you can't roll. Like I said before, the grenade locks you down. He also has a reversal, unlike Ghostblade. Like, I think it's really hard for me to really place these two. These two are kind of close to each other. I think Ranger is more stable, however, than Ghostblade. Ghostblade has 900 health. He has really low health, and his defense is not very good, but he makes up for it with his offense. Whereas Ranger is a very stable character in comparison to me, because he can convert from his zoning really well. No, I think Ranger's really good. The other thing about these two characters is that Ghostblade's Awakening is just a damage buff, and it's not even like Striker, where Striker's Awakening buffs her main damage, like it buffs her base damage. Ghostblade just increases his damage, where Striker gets increased damage and base damage scaling, which is what makes her able to kill effectively, unlike Ghostblade. Whereas Ranger gets probably a really strong Awakening, in the sense that I think his Awakening is one of the best in the game too, because he debuffs you for any attack that he does. And his debuff lowers the opponent's attack power, which means it buffs his defense, by proxy. It nerfs their defense, and it also nerfs their mana regen. So I think Ranger has a lot more control, unlike Ghostblade. So it makes him a little more stable to me. I think that's it for the A+ characters. A lot of these characters, to me, have the potential of moving up to S tier. I would put these three: Enchantress, Grappler, and I want to say Inquisitor in A tier. Maybe Grappler over Enchantress, but I still think we need more time with Enchantress. I don't think she's really good as how I thought. I don't think she's bad. I think she has potential, but right now, like, there's so many strong characters, and the meta is starting to become a little more defined, right? Grappler, to start with, I think Grappler has really, really strong damage output. Really capable of mixing you up when he's in your face. The ability to do 5ms cross up. Even though there's a guard button, you still gotta react to it. You still have to deal with it. He still has ways to mix up his approach with jump S, charge, and with his 5ms stuff. Like, I think things like that is really hard to really deal with when he's also charging at you with the armor charge, with the red armor tackle. With Grappler, his problem is the neutral. The neutral, to me, is really, really bad. Like, he actually has to fight to get in. The risk reward that he has to do, because his mobility is slow, his defense is trash with the counter because it loses to lows. The armor tackle actually also loses to lows. His buttons are, he only really has 5B in the neutral and jump S. Outside of that, he's really just throwing himself at you, man. Like, I'm sorry. Like, he struggles to get in, whereas other characters don't have that issue, and they kind of play around what Grappler wants to do. But I mean, of course, like I said before, if Grappler gets in, it's a warm time. He has an armored command grab with, I think, charge 5S. And his 2S is an armor anti-air, which is really good. It leads into a lot of damage. And the thing about both of these moves is that trying to guard cancel him can be rough because he could armor you, right? Like, I think he has a lot of tools up close that makes him threatening, and he really chunks away a lot of life. But his neutral is really lackluster. His defense is really lackluster to me in comparison. So he's the right kind of balance for a grappler to me. Enchantress, on the other hand, is a type of character where I feel like we've seen her play in tournament. I do think that there are a couple of people that play her and they really do well. Seth Law is a really strong Enchantress. Diaphone has also tried to play Enchantress. And Marlon Pai has played Enchantress. Out of those three, I think only Seth has done really well with the character so far. But everybody else has kind of played a sub or has not really played in tournament often. Only Seth has. And I don't think she's very consistent. But to be fair, she does have a lot of degenerate tools. I think she has a really strong DP because her DP is tied to the bear, which can be put anywhere on the screen, making it very hard to kind of stop her. She could just do DP anywhere in a sense, basically, which I think is a really interesting design. Her command grab is really good because then it forces them to become a doll, and then she actually ends up getting unblockables on you because you can't block while you get command grab from Enchantress and you turn into the doll, which creates a lot of funny scenarios where she just kills you outright. And she just loops you with the doll, with the teddy bear. The other thing too about Enchantress is I feel like her zoning is really good. Like her 5 MS, if I'm correct, is the one where she sucks your MP. That's really good on top of her doing her fireball, I think, which is her charge S. Her charge S in the air and on the ground. She also has her 2S, I think. I don't know which one it is, the one where it's the vines on the ground that she could basically follow behind when she uses conversion. Like, if she's full stream and she uses the vines, she can use conversion and run behind it and jail the opponent into a situation where they're forced to react. She's a really good zoner as a result. I think she's really strong and can be really oppressive up close with the puppet changes, like where she could use... Yeah, her 5 MS is the puppet, where she actually calls the puppet, and her... I forget which one is the... I think it's 6 MS, actually. 6 MS is the one where she whips forward and sucks your meter, right? Those tools alone, she's capable of keeping you, like, cornered or zoning you. Like, when she's up close, she can use the puppet change, like the 5 MS, to kind of, like, delay and change her block strings, and also create instant overhead situations. I think her zoning is really good. I think her pressure can be really good. I think her DP is actually really solid. I think she has potential to really go up. But the thing is that there are a lot of characters that kind of just maul her. And at 850 health, she really can't take a lot of, like, damage. She can't take a beating like that. So she also has a very slow DP. One of the slowest in the game at like 20 frames. Slower than Swiftmaster. But it's a really strong DP, like I mentioned before. So it's just honestly like a character that requires a lot of skill and requires a lot of... I don't want to say that execution is the thing holding her back, because execution doesn't really qualify to me. I think what holds her back is just her health alone. That's the biggest thing. It holds her back, and she's not as overbearing as somebody like Swiftmaster. That's the biggest thing. Like, Swiftmaster has tools that are outright strong, whereas Enchantress does not. And later on, like, people are starting to realize that, but I'm sure she'll go up in the list as time moves on. I think Seth showed a really good, like, showing with her, but we need to see more people play Enchantress. Inquisitor is really like whatever. She's also 850 health, tied with Enchantress and Swiftmaster for the lowest health in the game. And like Enchantress, Inquisitors, yeah, all three of these characters, actually, their awakening is not even that great to me. I think Enchantress, it depletes the amount of mana used to control the puppet. Grappler he gets less chip damage. And Inquisitor, she spends less bar for her mana moves when using the easy input. I really do think that these three characters have really bad awakenings. They don't really have strong awakenings overall. Like, I think Dragon Knight has the better version of Inquisitor's awakening. We used to think that it was the wheel that created a lot of situations that were terrible for the opponent, which it can be, right? Because she can push the opponent. We've seen Tempest NY able to manipulate people by pushing them in and out of the wheel to strike those situations. And she can also create high-low situations and air resets to knock you into the wheel, which creates a lot of messed up scenarios. But outside of that, she's not, like, we're not using those wheel block strings. They're fake, because you could just roll out of them. The biggest thing that Inquisitor is doing to you is throwing the Molotov. 5MS is probably the most degenerate thing about this character. 5MS and Air 5MS are the two things that make the character really annoying to deal with, coupled with her conversions from 5MS, which create a lot of damage on the table for her into her setups. She also has a really good DP. Her 2MS hits way above her head and goes right into fucking animation. So a lot of characters that try to mix her up, like Dragon Knight for instance, is very hard for her to fly over the DP unless she's already above her and then flying, like, to bait it. The other thing too is the fact that Inquisitor, I don't think her damage output is that great. I don't think it's too strong. Unless she lands 5MS, she doesn't do that much damage to you. So she's not really killing you outright until she lands like a medium starter again. That's a lot of characters in the game. But I think even her medium starter confirms are not that strong either. She has to reset you. So, Inquisitor, I just think she doesn't have... She needs health, man. Like, her health is not... She needs to have 900 health. I think she needs, like, actual health. She's not really, like... She doesn't deserve having 850 health. She should have at least 900 health. Because, at best, she can two-touch you when she puts the white stuff on you, the oil. Because when she puts the oil, she could burn your life bar down further. But aside from that, like, she's not two-touching you like that. She's not putting you in a degenerate mix-up outside of, like, the wheel and her pushing you, using the collision box to push you out of the wheel or in the wheel. I really do feel like she doesn't deserve her 850 health status. These three, to me, are by far the worst. I think Lost Warrior, Vanguard, and Launcher. I think these three are the worst in the game. The worst. They're not bad characters. B tier is not bad. Like, they're good characters. But they're the worst to me. Vanguard is literally just mid-screen warrior. He has no mix-up. None. No mix-up. He literally just touches you in the neutral and cleaves off damage. That is all he does. He has long-range normals that cleave you and take off a lot of life. And that's it. He is just playing raw-ass neutral, no mix. He doesn't do any guard damage. Vanguard is supposed to be a character in DFO where he breaks a lot of guard, right? Like, he's supposed to break your guard. He doesn't do that as well as the other characters in the cast that do it better than him. Berserker does it better than him. Striker does it better than him. Ranger does it better than him. Swiftmaster does it better than him. There's a lot of characters here that guard break. Hitman does it better than him. There's a lot of characters that guard break better than Vanguard, which to me is insane. He also has a really shitty reversal because it only hits as an anti-air. It doesn't actually hit as a reversal if the opponent is doing a crouching normal. So he just gets blown up for that. I think Vanguard's awakening is also really bad. Really bad. Because, yeah, his ability to guard break you is much better, right, when he's in awakening, but he's not really gonna be able to guard break you as effectively as other characters who can jail you and force the guard break. Like, I don't think he does it as effectively. I think really all Vanguard is capable of doing is playing the mid-range. That's it. He has a lot of bad matchups in the game. Literally, XYZZY says a crap ton of his matchups are terrible. He kind of can do okay against Dragon Knight. At best, it's even, because he has 2B to challenge Astra and her approach. But, I mean, aside from that, I think Vanguard is whack. Launcher is another one. I think Launcher is really bad. A lot of people were trying to hype up Launcher and saying that Launcher is really good, but her entire toolkit is just 5A. It's literally just 5A. That's it. That's all she does. She's going to do 5A into 5B, which is minus 13, which is the flamethrower. Or she's going to do 5A into 5A to bait your roll. Or she's going to do 5A into 5S or 5MS or any of her projectiles to try to keep you locked down and chip you away. She doesn't really have a strong mid-screen combo to make you scared. She only really has loops in the corner that do damage. Her DP is really slow. It's not one of the best. And I think this character really suffers with a bad awakening. The fact that her awakening does chip life in a game that there's no chip kill. There's no chip kill. She's a zoner that does worse than Ranger, right? Ranger gets confirms from anywhere on the screen except for like full screen. Only 3/4 screen to mid-range does he get conversions. And even then, he's doing more damage on average than Launcher. And has a better setup. Whereas Launcher is just basically working the guard bar. She's working the guard bar, chipping you away so that way the next hit she can land, if you try to roll, she'll get to take that white life away from you. But characters want white life. Characters want to have white life to use conversion to get bar and get closer to awakening. And against characters like Hitman, they want awakening. So I don't know. I feel like Launcher is not the type of character that you want to play if you're looking to zone. You have to play Ranger. I think Launcher is just not very good. She only is capable of punishing you for your roll and then carrying you to the corner, hitting you in the corner, looping you, and then that's it. That, like, she only does well when she has you cornered, which is, to me, very counterproductive as a zoner. You know? I don't know. I don't like the fact that as a zoner, she's very inconsistent. Now, Lost Warrior is another zoner, quote unquote, but his zoning is a little different, where he has things that track your movement on screen and then tag you, and then he can teleport to you and then convert from it. He does a lot of good damage, but damage does not make you a strong character alone. Lost Warrior does not have very strong tools at all. I think Lost Warrior is shit. You know why? Because Lost Warrior has a 10-frame jab. Lost Warrior has a counter that loses to lows. He has by far the worst mobility in the game, right? Those three things alone make him very, very trash. Now, on top of that, all he has is the cross-up. The cross-up is one of the main ways that he's going to hit you, or he's going to do the sword special into the fucking tracking beam. The little fucking hit scan that tags you, that tracks you. Those are his options. That is what he's going to do to you. And if you know how to run guard, you can stop those things. I really do think that Lost Warrior is very hard to fight in lag, but when you're able to stop that, it's like he just loses. He has the worst mobility. His normals are really slow. He has a 10-frame normal, so you could just stagger pressure on him. His counter, by the way, his counters, by the way, lose to lows, just like Grappler. And on top of that, at the end of the day, he's going to get fuzzied because he's also got a tall hurt box. Just like Hitman, just like Crusader, he has a tall hurt box, so you can fuzzy him very easily. All he has is like shit like 4M. He has the teleport. He has the jump fireball. That's it. That's literally it. Like, he tries to tag you by using the teleport cross-up and then deal a fuckload of damage from that. That's the biggest thing that he has, is TODs. The thing about Lost Warrior is that once he touches you, he can then time stop you and then do even more damage to you. The problem is that not a lot of characters are gonna let him play. They're not gonna let him play for mad long. And most characters in the game can two-touch you. It's not very valuable that Lost Warrior can TOD you or two-touch you. So I don't agree with Lost Warrior being good just because of his damage. Lost Warrior needs more than that to be a good character. He's just not consistent. There are people that are making him work because they're nice, but not many people are playing him. So I don't know. Like this character is not as strong as people are trying to hype him up to be. I think he has to work very hard. I think with time, we will see a lot of changes. We'll see a lot of changes to the meta, but I think the biggest thing that is universally accepted to me, the thing that is universally accepted is that Swiftmaster is OD. I think Swiftmaster is by far the best character in the game. He'll never go down until he gets nerfs. He will never be bad at all until nerfs. I think Swiftmaster is cheap. Hitman is cheap, Striker's cheap, Dragon Knight's cheap. These 5 characters are cheap. I think the people that are in A+, have a chance of getting the S tier, like Kunoichi and Berserker, maybe Troubleshooter. I think those characters have a chance of overtaking the S tier if changes were to occur in the game. But as far as I see it, the top 5 are solidified. They're solidified to me. I think Swiftmaster and Hitman alone are the 2 characters I'm way confident about. If you guys like my video, if you guys like my tier list, you know, leave a thumbs up. If you don't like it, comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about it, what your opinions are of it. I'm probably not going to listen to you because I already have my shit set in stone. But leave your comments anyway and I'll read them. You already know what it is. And yeah, please sub to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so you know when I upload another video like this. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.